Gentlemen, pay close attention. I need to share something with you. Most men spend their entire lives trying to understand what makes a woman obsess. They want her to cry, chase, and feel regret. They buy costly presents, send long messages, and try hard for many months. But here is the real fact nobody told you. One simple sentence from the right kind of man can break down all her barriers. It happens much faster than another man could achieve with months of hard work. Women have felt compelled to cheat, obsessed, looked closely at social media, stared at their phone screens late at night, and begged just to see a specific man again. This isn't because of his looks or his wealth, but because of the things he said. A short phrase, a calm moment, and suddenly she's awake, anxious, and wide-eyed in the dark. She thinks about it constantly, even when she is with someone else. Most men speak too much. They are too eager, too desperate, and too predictable. That's why we don't feel strongly for you. But the man who understands these phrases doesn't just talk. He changes our thinking. He makes us feel exposed, wanted, embarrassed, and powerless all at the same time. And here is the part you need to hear. One phrase reverses every trick we use on men. Another makes us compete with other women without even realizing it. And the one you are most afraid to say makes us respect you forever. The very last one is not even about us. And that's exactly why it drives us mad. I am a woman. I have felt this way. My friends talk about it privately. Your woman has likely felt it too. If you listen to the very end, you'll know every single one, especially the one men are scared to say. That's number 8. Once you say that one, no woman can look past you. Let's start. Phrase 1. The power of silence. I need to be straight with you. Every woman has developed feelings for a man who spoke very little. He was calm, in control, and focused. But when he finally spoke, his words were impactful, like thunder. I've been in that situation, sitting across from a man who said almost nothing. No endless flattery, no weak compliments, no showing off, just stillness. Then he delivered a sentence. It was calm and steady, and it changed my whole body. Here's the simple fact. Women are overwhelmed by noise, compliments, silly jokes, very long texts, easy attention, non-stop talking. We expect it, so we ignore it. But the man who pauses, who allows silence, who makes us wait for his words, that man becomes unique. When he finally speaks, it lands harder. His words cut deeper. They travel further. They stay with us at night. Why? Because being scarce increases value. If you waste your words, we stop listening. But if you save them, and only say them when you mean it, we crave them like air. Your silence builds excitement. Your pause makes us lean closer. Your timing makes our heart race. And when you finally speak, we believe what you say. The phrase, I don't chase what isn't mine. Do you know how harsh that is for a woman to hear? It wounds the pride. It shakes her sense of stability. It forces her to think about herself. Suddenly, we're not relaxed. We are uncertain. We are longing. We start thinking, wait, am I his? Why isn't he chasing? How do I get him to notice me? Remember this, the man who can walk away is the man she desperately wants to follow. But if you think this was strong, phrase number 2 doesn't just create excitement. It reverses every power trick we use against you. Phrase 2, the control flip. I need to admit something bad about women. We test men. We push their buttons. We cause small conflicts. We pull away. We try to provoke. We act cold. We create confusion. All of this to see if you will lose your cool. And almost every man does. He tries to explain. He defends himself. He apologizes. He tries even harder. The moment he does that, his control is gone. His power is gone. Our interest dies. But the man who flips the situation, who refuses to play the game, who doesn't get emotional, that man makes us weak. I've tested men before, pulled away, acted distant through small tricks. It's like poking a caged animal to see if it will get angry. But one man looked me directly in the eyes, calm and unaffected, and said, that doesn't work on me. Do you know what that did to me? My stomach tightened. My heart pounded. My pride was hurt. Suddenly, I wasn't testing him. I was being tested. I felt exposed. My tricks were useless. My methods were weak. And the worst part, I wanted him more because he was out of reach. From a psychological view, this is severe. The moment your feelings become stable, you stand out from most other men. You stop being her plaything. you become her challenge. Challenges lead to obsession. And once a woman feels challenged, she starts to chase. The phrase, "that doesn't work on me." No arguing, no emotion, no explaining, just a fixed statement. Power shifts, control flips, and interest sharply increases. And if you think this makes us act strangely, phrase number 3 doesn't just stop the games, it makes us panic. Phrase 3, the pull. A way sentence, I'll confess something most women would rather keep secret. Nothing makes a woman panic more than when a man we expect to chase us suddenly doesn't. I've done the tests before, ignored texts, replied slowly, disappeared for a while, waited for the worry, expected a second text or a frantic call asking what was wrong. And usually that's exactly what happens. Because most men panic when faced with distance. Their mind goes crazy. Did she lose interest? Is she mad? What did I do wrong? But one time, a man did something I wasn't prepared for. When I pulled back, he also pulled back. No chasing, no pressure, no fear, just calm, solid confidence. He looked at me steadily and said, "I think you need space. I'll let you take it." Do you know what that did? My stomach turned. My mind raced. My sense of control crumbled. Because suddenly, the power I thought I had was gone. He wasn't chasing. He wasn't begging. He wasn't trying to persuade me. He was letting me go. And that scared me. Because deep down, women know a harsh truth. The man who is willing to lose us is the man we cannot afford to lose. Psychology proves this. Lack of strong attachment equals value. When you show you're not scared to walk away, she sees something rare. You are the reward. You are not trapped. You are not desperate for affection. Women sense that energy quickly. And suddenly, we start chasing. We think hard. We become obsessed. We go crazy. We check your social media. We look at your online activity. We wonder who took our spot. And we hate that we care. The phrase, "I think you need space. I'll let you take it." It sounds gentle, but secretly it yells, "You are not in charge. You are not the prize. You are replaceable." It flips the entire situation. And when women feel that change, we rush to fix it. But if you think that one is painful, phrase number 4 doesn't just change the dynamic. It hurts our ego, our heart, and our unconscious mind all at once. Phrase 4, desire without need. I need to confess something embarrassing, something many women whisper about privately. We don't want men who don't want us. But we also don't obsess over men who need us. The reality is harsh. The man who can show he desires us without needing us is the man that stays on our mind. I remember sitting across from a man I found attractive, expecting the usual things: flattery, approval, gentle compliments, fake interest. But instead, he leaned back, quiet confidence evident in his posture, and said, "I want you, but I don't need you." My body reacted before my brain could catch up. My pulse quickened. My breathing got shallow. My skin flushed. Why? Because in that moment I realized something scary. He wanted me, but he could leave. Men who need us are predictable, easy to forget, and not special. But men who want us without needing us, they become an obsession. Our pride takes over. Our ego burns. We start thinking, why doesn't he need me? Am I not good enough? What is he doing without me? And suddenly, we chase because desire without need signals something: strength, plenty of options, self-respect. It tells us you are not desperate for female attention. And do you know what women find most appealing today? A man who cannot be manipulated. The phrase, "I want you, but I don't need you." That single line is psychological warfare. It signals you have standards, you have other options, you respect yourself, you can leave. It creates a contradictory tension. We want to be chosen, but we want to earn that choice. Women lose sleep over men like that because if you don't need us, we'll try twice as hard to make sure you want us. But if you think this is risky, phrase number 5 doesn't just trigger desire, it triggers competition. Something basic, old, and impossible to stop. Phrase 5. The scarcity trigger, I'll admit something cruel that women will deny in public. We do not value what comes easily. If you constantly give attention, always offer approval, reply right away, we get bored, we become cold, we start to look elsewhere. This isn't because women are bad. It's because human psychology rewards rarity. I remember one man, he was charming, composed, not showy, but his energy was captivating. One night, After joking with him about not texting back, half teasing, half testing, he just smirked and said, "My attention isn't free. You have to earn it." Do you know what that did? My pride exploded, my ego burned, but my desire, it shot up. Suddenly, I wanted to win, to earn, to compete, even against other women. Women dislike competition publicly, but we crave it psychologically. Rarity is primal. Limited supply creates obsession. Men who flood us with attention lose value. Men who save their attention, they become priceless. Your attention becomes a reward, and we will do anything to claim it. The phrase, "My attention isn't free, you have to earn it," it's sharp, it's unfair. And it works because it changes the entire situation. You are not trying to win her. She must win you. And once a woman feels she might lose, she invests more. She tries harder, she chases. But if you think that makes us obsessed, phrase number 6 doesn't just make us compete, it makes us yield. Phrase 6, the high value sentence, "I need to admit something that makes women angry but also addicted." We want to believe we are the catch, that you are chasing us, that we are the ones being chosen. It feeds our pride, it confirms our appeal, it strengthens our control. But the men who reverse this, the men who make us feel like we are the ones competing, those are the men we lose our minds over. I remember once telling a man I had options. It was a trick, a test disguised as a joke. I expected him to argue, reassure me, panic, and prove his worth. Most men do. But instead, he leaned back, arms relaxed, eyes unmoved, and said, "I don't compete for women. Women compete for me." Do you know what that did to me? My entire sense of control collapsed. My bluff was destroyed. The power I thought I had was gone. Suddenly, I wasn't the judge, I was the contestant. And that drove me mad because every woman secretly wants to be the one who won the man every other woman wanted. Most men, when they hear a woman brag about options, back down instantly. They argue, they beg, they try to negotiate, they over-promote themselves. But the man who refuses to compete forces a psychological difference in status. I am not fighting for you, you're fighting for me. And that difference is fatal to our pride. Women start to overthink. Why isn't he worried? Did he replace me already? Who else wants him? Do other women see value in him? And then something unusual happens in our feelings. We chase, we step up, we prove ourselves because now your attention feels like a trophy. The phrase, "I don't compete for women, women compete for me," it is bold, severe, slightly disrespectful, appealing, and it works because it reverses the unconscious understanding. You are the prize. But if you think that was cruel, phrase number 7 doesn't just flip power, it demands respect instantly. Phrase 7, the boundary sentence, "I need to confess something women hate admitting," especially those raised on empowerment ideas. We push limits on purpose. We cancel plans at the last minute. We point out weaknesses. We show small disrespect. We test patience not because we enjoy it, but because we want to see where the line is. Most men have no line. They put up with everything. They excuse the behavior. They apologize for our disrespect. The moment they do, respect disappears, attraction dies, curiosity ends. Because if you can't stand up to us, how can you face the world? But the man with firm limits, the man who shows disrespect, ends the game. That man frightens us and makes us obsessed. I remember testing a man cold, dismissive, careless, with intentionally short replies. I expected him to chase harder, to earn kindness from me. Instead, he looked at me, face neutral, and said, "Disrespect me once, I'm gone." My entire body froze because I knew he meant it. No argument, no explanation, no emotional begging, just gone. And here's a harsh truth. Women respect actions more than words. Let me say that again. Women respect actions more than words. The psychology is severe. When you show a woman you are willing to leave immediately, you become memorable. Because deep down, every woman wants a man whose self-respect is stronger than his desire for her. When a man's fear of losing a woman is greater than his fear of losing himself, she loses interest. But when a man's fear of losing himself is greater than losing her, she falls for him. The phrase, "Disrespect me once, I'm gone," draws a fixed line. It separates the men we play games with from the men we fear losing. Fear is the basis of obsession. But if you think that was the strongest phrase, Phrase number 8 is the one men are scared to say because it doesn't just scare women, it shatters their belief of control forever. Phrase 8, the fear sentence, let me tell you a truth most women will never admit publicly. The man who frightens us the most isn't the one who yells, isn't the one who cheats, isn't even the one who acts cold. It's the man who can look us in the eye and calmly say, I'd rather be alone than with the wrong woman. I'll never forget the first time I heard it. I was testing him, pulling back, acting cold, waiting for him to prove himself. Instead of chasing, instead of explaining, instead of giving in, he smiled lightly and said, I'd rather be alone than with the wrong woman. My heart sank, my pride was hurt, because in that moment he wasn't afraid of losing me. He was rejecting me with a standard, and nothing makes a woman overthink more than the thought, maybe I'm not good enough for him. The psychology is destructive. Most men are terrified of loneliness. They put up with anything just to keep us. But when a man makes it clear he'd rather be by himself, our entire game fails. We stop trying to control you because you don't need us. We start chasing approval because we want to be the exception. This phrase shows standards, self-worth, independence, and emotional strength. And here's the secret fear women carry. We want a man who can stand alone, because if he can stand alone, he can choose us truly. The phrase, I'd rather be alone than with the wrong woman, is quiet, calm, and deadly. It makes us realize something scary. You don't need us. You don't even need women. You need yourself. And once a woman sees that level of independence, she will do anything to be the one you choose. But if you think that hurt deeply, phrase number 9 doesn't attack the ego, it attacks the mind. Phrase 9, the emotional mirror, I need to confess something cruel and very real. Women like to twist emotions. We cry when it suits us. We sulk when it gives us power. We go silent when we want control. We act cold when we want to punish. And here's the sad part. Most men fall for it instantly. They rush to comfort. They explain themselves, they apologize, they try to make us feel better, they try to stop the storm not knowing it was never real. And in that moment, we own them. Why? Because the moment we control your feelings, we control you. But the man who doesn't take on that energy, the man who doesn't apologize when nothing was wrong, the man who reflects instead of reacting, that man is dangerous. I once snapped at a man, sharp, defensive, intentionally cold, expecting comfort right away. Instead, he simply looked at me with a calm half smile and said, you feel trapped right now, don't you? Do you know what that did? My act failed because he wasn't fighting my emotion. He was exposing it. He showed me something terrifying. He saw through the mask straight into the fear underneath. I suddenly felt exposed, vulnerable, without power. The psychology is ruthless. When you mirror a woman's emotions instead of absorbing them, you take away her weapon. Most emotional outbursts, silent treatments, and guilt trips are performances. A reflection turns a performance into self-examination. When a woman feels seen like that, she cannot forget you. She thinks about the moment in silence at night. She hates that you saw the truth. She fears your perception because your clarity becomes her mirror. And the phrase, you feel trapped right now, don't you, doesn't argue, doesn't defend, doesn't beg. It reflects. It makes her question herself instead of you. That's why it's deadly. It shifts the emotional burden back onto her. It turns her weapon inward. But if you think that's so effective, phrase number 10 doesn't just expose emotions, it punishes arrogance quietly. Phrase 10, the return test killer, let me confess, one of the dirtiest female games. When we pull away, act cold, become distant, or ignore you, we almost always come back. But here's what you don't know: when we return, we expect to be welcomed like royalty. We expect you to take us back instantly. We expect sympathy, we expect approval, we expect your relief. And most men fail this test immediately. They open the door wide. They reward disrespect. They give over control. But the man who doesn't break, the man who doesn't roll out the welcome mat, the man who calmly looks us in the eyes and says, you don't get to come back the same way you left. Do you know how destructive that is? My stomach dropped the first time I heard it, because suddenly my return wasn't a victory. It was a test. Instead of being rewarded for leaving, I had to earn my place again. The psychology is harsh. Women want things to be steady, but we want status difference more. We want to know whether we're moving up or falling down the ladder. If you let us leave and return freely, we assume we've risen above you. But when you make it clear that every departure has consequences, the situation flips. We chase harder. We fear losing status. We prove loyalty. That phrase tells us respect is not free. Attention is not guaranteed. Your presence is not permanent. The line, "You don't get to come back the same way you left," destroys our belief of control. It creates responsibility, and responsibility creates respect. But if you think that crushes pride, phrase number 11 doesn't crush the ego, it crushes silence.